Hey everyone, and welcome to today's deep dive.
Yeah?
We're going to be tackling something I think we can all relate to.
Mm,
How to tap into a wellspring of strength and security,
right.
especially when life throws those inevitable curveballs our way.
Absolutely. It's about finding that unshakable foundation.
Yes.
That helps us weather the storms, wouldn't you say?
Exactly, and we're doing that by diving into some incredible wisdom from Pastor Simon.
Oh, yeah?
We've got excerpts from 3 of his sermons,
Okay.
all about finding refuge in God.
Wonderful.
And let me tell you, they're packed with powerful insights.
His ability to take these ancient biblical truths
Yeah.
and make them resonate with our modern lives is truly remarkable.
Okay,
Mhm.
so let's jump right in with the first excerpt, which centers around Isaiah 41.11. This passage starts with a line that always stops me in my tracks.
Okay.
Fear not, for I am with you. There's something so deeply reassuring about those words, isn't there?
It's more than just reassurance.
Right.
It's a game changer when you truly grasp its depth. See, this statement isn't made in a vacuum. It's firmly rooted in the covenant God made with his people. So when he says, I am with you, it's a declaration of unwavering commitment, a promise that he's in your corner no matter what. That's the source of true strength, true security.
It's like that story Pastor Simon told about the time he was dealing with a really difficult person. The stress of that situation was really getting to him, and then he remembered this verse from Isaiah.
Yeah.
It's like a lifeline he could grab onto.
Yes. He clung to that promise.
Yeah.
Fear not, for I am with you, and prayed, surrendering the situation to a higher power.
And get this, he said almost instantly, things began to shift. Like a weight lifted, and that conflict, which had felt so heavy and impossible, started to resolve itself. Even the relationship began to heal.
It's a testament to how powerfully God can work when we surrender our fears and worries to him. It makes you wonder, what situations in our own lives might require that same surrender, that same trust in his presence? Where do we need to hear that whisper, I've got this? I think that's something we can all reflect on.
Absolutely. That's what makes these deep dives so powerful. They challenge us to take these truths and apply them to our own lives. Speaking of applying these truths, this segues perfectly into the next sermon excerpt, which centers around Psalm 46.1. This next sermon excerpt dives into Psalm 46.1, where it describes God as our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble.
Yeah.
Just reading those words, a very present help.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
it brings me a sense of peace.
It's such a powerful antidote to feeling alone in our struggles,
Yes.
wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
This verse reminds us that we're not facing things alone,
Right.
that there's a source of strengths we can always tap into.
It really makes you think about where we're placing our trust, doesn't it? Are we relying on things that are fleeting and temporary?
Right.
Or are we grounding ourselves in something unshakable, something
Yeah.
eternal?
That's the crux of it, isn't it? It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle of life,
Right.
trying to find security in things that ultimately fade away.
Yeah.
But this verse invites us to shift our focus, to ground ourselves in something much deeper
Okay.
and more enduring.
And, you know, Pastor Simon,
Yeah.
always with the perfect analogy,
Yeah.
he used the example of wearing shoes.
Right.
We don't even think twice about putting on shoes to protect our feet, do we?
Such a simple but powerful illustration.
I know.
He was talking about the importance of spiritual readiness.
Yeah, okay.
Just like we protect our physical bodies,
Right.
we need to prioritize our spiritual well-being.
He called it being feet shod
Yes.
with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
Okay.
I love that. What do you think he meant by that?
Well,
This idea of being feet shod with the gospel of peace.
it's about being proactive with our faith,
Okay.
grounding ourselves in the truths of the gospel so that when challenges arise,
Yeah.
and we're able to navigate them from a place of peace and strength.
It's about having that unshakable foundation to withstand the storms.
Exactly.
Which, speaking of storms, leads us perfectly into the final sermon excerpt, Deuteronomy 33.27.
Okay.
This one really resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
It acknowledges something we all experience at times, vulnerability.
Feeling vulnerable is part of the human experience.
Yes.
But this verse doesn't leave us hanging in that space of vulnerability.
Right.
It points us to something much greater.
It says, the eternal God is your refuge,
Yeah.
and underneath are the everlasting arms.
Powerful.
Chills every time.
I know, right?
This imagery of being held and protected
Yeah.
no matter what. It's so powerful, isn't it?
It's a beautiful picture of God's unwavering protection.
Yeah.
And what's crucial here is that it's not a passive protection.
Oh.
It's active, engaged.
Yeah.
He's not just shielding us.
Yeah.
He's fighting for us.
That reminds me of the story Pastor Simon shared about receiving that really unsettling message.
Yeah.
He was in the middle of this conflict, felt completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And he said he found himself clinging to those words. The eternal God is your refuge.
And what happened next is what's so incredible.
What happened?
As he prayed,
Okay.
he felt this overwhelming sense of peace wash over him,
Yeah.
like a weight being lifted.
Wow.
And shortly after, the situation resolved itself.
Really?
It's like that verse acted as a shield,
Wow.
deflecting the negativity.
It's like by reminding himself of God's promise, he aligned himself with that protection. It reminds me of the analogy Pastor Simon used a rugby player fending off an opponent.
Yes.
Right.
It paints such a vivid picture.
It does.
God isn't standing idly by.
Right.
He's actively engaging in our well-being,
Okay.
using his strength to push back against the forces that threaten to overwhelm us.
He's in our corner fighting for us, and that's incredibly empowering, don't you think?
Absolutely.
But it makes you wonder, what does it look like for God to fight through us, as Pastor Simon mentioned? That's a whole other layer, isn't it? It's one thing to imagine God fighting for us, shielding us from the blows, but what does it mean to have him fighting through us? That feels much more active, almost like a collaboration.
It is a collaboration. It's about aligning ourselves with his will, becoming vessels for his strength and peace to flow through us. Think of it this way. It's not just about weathering the storm. It's about letting the storm reveal the strength that was within us all along, a strength that comes from aligning ourselves with the divine.
So it's not about becoming invincible or avoiding challenges altogether. It's about facing those challenges with a different kind of strength, a strength rooted in something much greater than ourselves.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that even in our moments of vulnerability, we are not powerless. We have access to a wellspring of strength that the world can't touch.
It's interesting because that's a recurring theme throughout these sermons, isn't it? It's not that we won't face difficulties, but that we face them with a different perspective, a different source of strength.
And that changes everything, doesn't it? It's no longer about just getting by. It's about allowing those challenges to refine us, to reveal the strength and resilience we didn't even know we had. It's about letting God turn our struggles into opportunities for growth and transformation.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into finding refuge in God, what's the biggest takeaway you hope listeners walk away with today?
I think the most important thing to remember is this. No matter what you're facing in your life, God is your constant refuge, your unwavering support. And he doesn't just want to fight for you. He wants to fight through you to empower you to face those challenges with the strength and peace that surpasses all understanding.
It's about making those words from the sermons, those beautiful promises, a living reality in our lives. It's about actively seeking that connection with God, inviting him into the messy reality of our lives and allowing him to fight for us and through us every step of the way. So the next time you're feeling overwhelmed, lost, or afraid, remember those powerful words we explored today. Let them wash over you, ground you, and remind you that you are not alone, because even when life feels chaotic, his peace is always available to us, waiting to fill us and empower us to face whatever comes our way. Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.